like this, or this, or some of this. And let's make a track. Let's go. So yeah, let's do this. Yeah, this is, I think it's my first time recording my own voice, especially for tutorials. So yeah, who doesn't like to hear his own voice? Anyway, this is gonna be a bit long, maybe it's gonna be a bit boring, but yeah, let's have a look about some of the makings of those Reese Neuro Bass sound design stuff. I know there's like a trillion approaches to how to tackle this, and there is not a right or wrong, so you just do what sounds good or feels good to you. And I'm just going to show you a little bit of one of my many ways of creating sounds and basses and stuff like that. So in this case, we're going to start off with a Europe.
Say what?
With a basic analog wave that we're going to tweak a bit, as you can see. So I'm just playing around a bit, and we're going to bring the shape up a little bit versus a more square. As you can see, it gives a little bit of saturation. You can see that in the spectrum EQ. Then I like to bring in a second oscillator, same waveform, just bring a little bit of saturation there. You can bring the volume down. What I also like to do is on the third one, we're going to bring in a little bit of noise, bring in the freeze noise, just a tiny bit to have a little bit in the highs. Of course, you can add some unison to add a little bit of space of dimension. Of course, you're gonna bring up the pitch range to play around. We're gonna maximize the hell out of it as much as you want. Bring in soft clipping to high. You can just go and check on your own what soft clipping is actually doing. And let's add a second one of the maximizer just to boost it. Why? Well, because we can, right? I basically do this to squash the sound, and even if you go into the reds in your master out, it doesn't really matter in the sound design process because some of the clipping can actually be very interesting. And we're gonna create our first notch filters that we do by hand, as you can see here. So yeah, I basically create two notches, I automate them, and you can go quite randomly, just run through the frequencies. Just watch out to not overlap or cross them too much, because you can create big gaps and holes. Just add a little bit of saturation and compression and distortion. Not too much. My favorite distortion, the Decapitator by Soundtoys. Really recommend it. So this sounds interesting. Here I just added another EQ to cancel out some ugly bass frequencies. Here again, maximize it, push it, adjust a bit the distortions. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna use a Thor synthesizer and use the audio input, which we're gonna route into the filter 3, because I pretty much like the sound of the filters, especially the notch filter. So here you can go play around. Low pass, high pass, and yeah, play around with the frequency. And as well as before with the notches, we're gonna automate them to have some nice movements in there, in the lows and the highs. Just create some random patterns. Here I go back to adjust a little bit of the EQ to find the sweet spots. Here again I do some EQing. Another Thor with the filter 3. Comp filter can be nice, maybe it's a bit too extreme, too resonant. Whatever sounds good to you, just use it. But let's go with another notch filter. And we do some more automation on that. Now a bit more fun parts. We're gonna go back to the original Europe and start playing around with the filters. here we're gonna control the filter with envelope. Using the notch filter, which creates those neuro kind of bass morphings. So we're gonna bind the frequency of the envelope rate to the mod wheel, pitch wheel, sorry. So basically with the pitch wheel, with the pitch going up, the speed is going up of the envelope. Here we're gonna add a little bit more saturation with the Softube Saturation Know. Free plugin, by the way, just get it. Here I even added a third Thor that we run through the filter. And we're gonna automate it again. Random stuff, random patterns. And here I'm gonna bind again the envelope rate to the mod wheel as well, so I can basically control them via the pitch and the mod wheel to have like counter movements. If it gets too fast with the pitch, I can bring it down with the mod wheel. Which is a pretty neat trick, I guess. And of course more automation. And we bring the frequency of the filter, of the notch filter, to what? The mod wheel, yeah. So now we really can play around and create a lot of lovely movements in there. Get some frequency adjustments there. Recording now. So yeah, then bounce it and let's make a track.